Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Wednesday, the 24th of November. Just a couple of things. In fact, I'm going to start off looking at risk events. Let's just click on the right button here. So, risk events today. He says quickly clicking. You'll see there's a lot of them, but not very many that is going to be too meaningful. So we've already had the Reserve Bank of New Zealand's rate. Now this was a bit of a disappointment, as you'll see when we go through the markets. Some were expecting a 0.5% rise, but the speed of increasing, although the comments were quite hawkish, just came in at 0.25. So the end of cheap money, I think they titled it. From the Reserve Bank of Australia, New Zealand. I'll get it right in a moment. Side of that, then, just looking through here. So next, well, Credit Suisse. No, I'm not interested in any of this. German IFO, 9 o'clock. We sometimes get you'll get a 5-10 pip move possibly. US prelim GDP, that we could see a bit more volatility around 130. The rest of the data, I don't think, core durable goods, it's coming out at the same time, so it could be a conflicting bit of news there coming out when they come out together. It's difficult to work out which one's which, or causing which. Core personal consumption expenditure there at 3, and that's it. So this will be looked at quite a bit, the PCE. So maybe get a little blip at 3 o'clock, and then we got the meeting minutes. They're so dull these days that we might get to see something that hasn't been spoken about, but it's relatively short-lived anything. So there we go. A moderate day today. The most important news really was the Kiwi already reported. Let's have a look at the technicals then, looking at the euro dollar, and well, this continues from a daily perspective clearly down. From the 4 hourly, really it's looking certainly downtrend, lower highs, lower lows still continuing through. Maybe a break of, we're not looking like we're going to get anywhere near that weekly pivot at the moment unless we see a significant turn. We've got some divergence running across the lows, or had some divergence running across those lows initially back here, but I'm just looking, actually that's now sort of watered down, and haven't got really much there to give it support. The higher time frames are little in the terms of support. So yesterday was a classic. It came up to its R1 actually yesterday and sold off a little bit later in the morning. As I said, with some of the divergences and things you're seeing over the lower time frames, you may be expecting something and you just don't get very much, and that's what we got. Not very much yesterday, and it sold off a couple of times, popping up there. It almost looks like it may want to pop up there again this morning, but any early movements may be opportunities, particularly if it comes back towards its R1, opportunities to sell back into it. Okay, that's the euro. The pound. Morning, Boris. The pound, bit of divergence on this daily time frame now. It's taken out those prior lows yesterday. Again, lower highs, lower lows, largely broken trends, etc. that are drawn here from previous, last week's sort of rising trend, but it's already soft. Again, this just looks to me like it's setting up for maybe further downside where it's sitting there. So bearish sort of bars here, bearish engulfing bar currently, further downside potential there. Dollar yen. So dollar yen, looking from a daily perspective, the upside continues at this stage, and well, no divergences there, probably an RSI divergence. Again, there's a bit of RSI divergence across the tops there, but we'll see. Actually, it has broken its daily pivot at the moment. A break back up above the 8 and 21 would probably be a bit more bullish, and we would expect to look for the previous highs again, up above there. It maybe even further, the R1 could come into scope. It's slow, difficult to look for trades on it, but it is moving. It is moving in a a general direction of upwards. The Aussie dollar, lower highs, lower lows, daily wise. It looks bearish daily wise. Certainly looks bearish on the 4 hourlies. Crikey, it's well, it's probably done its doings. Although it's trying to pick something up here. Just pitched lower there. Hammer at the bottom there. Bit of a swing maybe, but it's selling off quite sold off in the last hour again, just looking bearish. It's just not really given any sort of decent retracements. If you wanted to get short, there's no real great discount in the sales point there. Canadian dollar again pushing up largely, a shooting star in from yesterday, more of a bullish move. Price of oil pushing back up may be helping that. The Canadian dollar somewhat higher lows, higher highs coming through on this 4 hourly though. To me, it may well just be consolidating around here with another push up the way it's looking. A break below that yesterday evening's bar there, may see it come back to some support into the weekly pivot and the 50 MA, 34 MA. Just looking at it from an hourly point, it just looks that little bit sort of softer, like it's going to roll over, but I'm not overly convinced with the last couple of bars. Right, New Zealand dollar then. Oh boy, they didn't like the sell-off. Didn't like only 0.25%. Morning, Shelley. Didn't like the 0.25%. We saw much more of a sell-off than. I mean, it's a sort of sell on the news. It hardly been priced in. The Canadian New Zealand dollar's been selling off for some time here against the US dollar, but it is doing better against some other pairings. No, it's some other majors, I should say, but hardly flying. Divergence where it sits at the moment, though. Maybe I'm still looking at some point for the New Zealand dollar yen to switch round. This will become a good carry trade at some stage, but 0.75 against zero interest rate, it starts becoming a bit more interesting, but it maybe we have to wait longer to see the carry really take advantage, be taken advantage of. But money will start running in there. Big money will start running in towards the New Zealand dollar against the yen at some stage. But for now, it's still heading south, so we'll leave that. Okay, looking at other markets, let's just switch on. We'll have a quick look at cryptos first, he says, as it's set up. There we go. So Bitcoin finding a bit of support yesterday, bit divergently looking, I should imagine. Let's just have a look. No, not in here, but maybe a bit of an RSI, more aggressive RSI setting, maybe a bit divergence, but it's still, to me, it looks like it's heading towards that prior high sort of area. The 100 moving average catching up with price a little bit may provide a bit of support. It did back here. We'll see how it does, but at the moment still looking erring on the bearish side. Ethereum had a bit better day yesterday, looked a little bit more solid. Hasn't made it a confirmed lower high at the moment. In fact, if it was to turn around here and start pushing up, it could once again become the more bullish of the majors here that I'm looking at. Ripple again remaining quite soft at the moment. It's sort of gone off my bullish radar for now, and it's definitely in the class of potentially more downside, and we may even see these sort of lows back to 88 on 0.88 hit. Okay, let's have a look at the indices. We're going to be a bit early, so as well, he says, so I won't be able to see all the FTSE opening, but let's have a look at overnight CSI 300. Okay, it's talking about it sort of. We'll see what it does into its daily 100. It has just gradually crept up a little bit further once again, moving up in that direction. I would hardly call it bullish. And the Nikkei, after a day's holiday, it's been sold off. And as I said, the divergence on the RSI towards the highs there, it's been dancing around, and well, the consolidation, it hasn't been good enough to see it push up, and quite a strong sell-off there, closing up a lot of gaps. FTSE's open now, he says. Should be open now, and we're seeing a bit of a. It is open. There we go, and we're seeing a bit of a. I mean, yesterday it was just all over the shop. At some stage, it started off okay and sold off, put back up again. It's possibly starting to catch a bit of a turn. And the more I look at this, and probably coming down the lower time frames, you'll see more turn in it. DAX still not looking particularly good. As I said yesterday, the potential of further shutdowns, etc., may well affect the equity markets a bit more for now, but certainly hasn't helped it recently. CAC also coming off a little at the moment. So again, look at both the DAX and CAC sort of really coming the opposite way. This might just reverse as we go through the morning a little bit on these, but still looking, as I say, just that bit softer now. Okay, that's it. We've covered the others. I'm going to call it a day there. So I'm going to wish you. Oh, oil. I didn't mention oil. I knew I was going to mention something. Oil. So Japan announced it's going to release some of its stockpile. And then we look at the amount, and it's someone wrote underwhelming, doesn't quite cut it. It's basically they're going to release about a day's supply, or day's consumption, beg your pardon. So I don't think that's going to really take too much, do too much to the price of oil. Needless to say, it's the markets have just carried on as they were, and it's higher low confirmed near term here on the 4 hourlies and pushing up, slowing down. The momentum's gone out of this a little bit, and there is a bit of divergence across here. It could be a bit of a battle going backward and forwards here. As I say, you've got the divergence, maybe a break below that 77.98 area in between there would confirm more downside. The more it consolidates around here, more chance we have of a push up later on in the day. Okay, like what we saw yesterday. At this point, I wish you an absolutely great day, and I will catch you tomorrow. Bye for now. Yes, that. Oh, may oil get back down to 73? Might at some stage, but we'll see how it goes. It needs to break down first. Right, there you go. Take care. Depends on what you're looking at for your 73, of course.